Life is all about relationships. Lovers, family, body, or money. How satisfied you are can be completely explained by how you relate to things around you. This is Sophie Jaffe, and together with my husband, Dr. Adi Jaffe, we are here to explore and teach you how to maximize your relationships and achieve a happier life. Let's get ignited. This episode of Ignited is brought to you by Four Sigmatic.
These guys make some of the coolest mushroom-based powders on earth. No, not those mushrooms. These are those medicinal and holistic wellness powders.
They make a few different ones, and I've loved using them for a few years now.
Yeah, you've been using them for longer than I have.
Absolutely. I first found out about Four Sigmatic years ago. They work in such beautiful synergy with my philosophy products.
Yeah, they're really great. They have packets of just single mushrooms like lion's mane mushroom.
I love lion's mane. I use it every single day.
But did you know that Buddhist monks use it to help during meditation?
I mean, it makes sense. No wonder I'm attracted to it.
There you go. They also have ones with coffee in them, and they use pure Arabica beans, so that's the good stuff. And they even have packets with cacao, and you know that because I love making the super powdered hot
coffee.
chocolate.
Yeah, I love bringing these in travel. They make life so much easier. When we were in Israel, I use them every single day because they're so easy to use. We use them all together. Again, I use them in travel, and also in the mornings, I like to mix a really yummy, supercharged coffee with Four Sigmatic and philosophy. We make it almost every single morning, and if you want to grab that recipe, you can check it out in the link in our show notes.
Seriously, if you want to superpower your life with these magic mushrooms from our friends at Four Sigmatic, just head over to foursigmatic.com/ignited, that's IGNTD, and use the code IGNITED at checkout, and you'll receive 15% off of your entire purchase.
Such a good discount.
Yeah, and the offer is awesome, the product is awesome, and you should head over there right now.
Thanks, guys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Ignited Podcast. I'm Adi Jaffe.
And I'm Sophie Jaffe.
And we're bringing you a do-over episode today. I talk about it in the episode itself. This is a dear friend of ours that we have here with us today. Tricia, otherwise known as Your Joyologist. Her work graces our entire home and has for a really, really long time. And she's a special person.
Tricia's amazing. I met her, I think we decided it was 5 or 6 years ago. And, I don't even remember how we came together. It was probably Instagram, like the very beginning of Instagram. But we totally fell in love. Like, she is such a good friend. We don't get to see each other very often, but when we do, it's so high quality and so high vibration. And when we talk on the phone, it's the same thing. And when we text each other, it's the same thing. She's one of those friends that, and just the type of person that holds herself accountable, holds me accountable as a friend, and just really shows up to her life in a real, authentic, vulnerable way, and is such an inspiration.
You mentioned earlier that in a conversation you had with somebody around radical transparency and our whole concept of it, that he was kind of shocked by the idea and wanted to know more about it, and that Tricia really stood out to you as somebody who practices that too.
Yeah, I was on a morning talk show this morning, and there were 3 hosts, and
That's a lot of hosts.
Yeah. And the man was fascinated, he was fascinated by radical transparency with our podcast, with how we function in our relationship.
What do you mean by fascinated? Like what did he say about it? Or
he was so interested in it and curious about it that after the broadcast was finished, he walked up to me and was like, "Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing your honesty. Thank you for sharing your relationship. And also, I'm just really fascinated and interested in this radical transparency term. Like how does that work? Was it easy right off the bat? have you always been this way? And I was like, no. Like, no, it wasn't easy right off the bat. There was a serious learning curve. You know, in the very beginning, it hurt to hear some of your radical shares and some of your, you know, not just like highs and lows, but the in-between stuff is also kind of weird to hear all of that right away. So,
well, especially because you probably, like all of us, live in a world where people are told to not talk about those things. So you don't hear people talking about these things.
Right.
You just don't. I mean, nobody, like not your parents, not your friends. These are some of the things that we've had to be honest about are exactly the things that we were, I don't want to say pressured, but sort of implicitly taught you don't talk about.
Right. Well, we figured out, or at least we tried, and then it ended up working out. We just tried the modality of radical transparency as a way of healing. No one guided us that way. It just
actually told us not to.
They told us not to.
Remember, our therapist was like, "Are you sure?" Because you were the one. I mean, in full transparency, you were the one that was like, "No, I want to know everything." And I was like, "Are you sure?"
It felt intuitively right to me, and it's ended up being the most healing tool for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
so this guy was kind of...
So he just wanted to know more, and I was like, yeah, there's definitely a learning curve, and I'm at the point now in my life that because my husband and I, you and I, have been doing this for so long now that I expect that out of everyone in my life now. And if I don't get that extreme honesty in all facets of that relationship and of that person, then I'm a little turned off and I don't feel as intimate with them.
I think, you know what? I think I probably feel the same way. I think, yeah. I mean, I think I could easily say that when people don't show up in that way, first of all, I call them on it now, whereas before I would have hidden from that conflict. I would have been like, what's going on? What are you not talking about? Mm-hmm. But also I want to be friends with people who are going to be forthright and honest with me.
Right. In a very, very, very vulnerable, real, open way. And Tricia does that. And if you follow her over at Your Joyologist, you'll see just exactly what I'm talking about. She's just very raw, very honest, talks about her troubles, her same as me, same as Adi, just very, very open to the goods, the bads, and also just normal, mundane life stuff. Like, I didn't get to do my morning practice this morning and it threw me off in these ways, or my kids are sick, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on for me. Here's how I'm getting out of my own way. And she's just got great inspiration. She really does bring about joy. If you go to her page, you'll see all of her quotes. Her newsletters are really great. All of her products are just evoke joy. So definitely go check her out. I'm excited for you to hear this interview. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny, even the way in which this thing unfolded, where she came in, we did one interview, but she was going through a lot of struggles, and then something got messed. It's almost like divine intervention. Like something got messed up in the recording, and it got all jarbled up, and we had to tell her.
Yeah.
And we had to say, hey, something, and she drove up for it. Like she drove 2 hours, slept at our house, so we could record in the morning, and then it got fucked up.
Yeah, but she had an instinct about it, she said. She said she had a feeling that something happened to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then she was grateful because she had worked through some things.
Yeah, she mentioned that in the interview. That
so cute.
That some of the things she had been trying to work through, she finally kind of got through. So she's amazing. She drove down again because, I mean, look, guys, you know, we interview some people remotely and some people here at home. It's always better in person.
Yeah.
And she drove down again and crashed at our house, which was really cool. We got to spend the whole morning with her. I forgot to remind you guys to screenshot this. I forgot. So now I'm remembering to do that. And don't forget, tag me, Sophie. Now you know to tag your Joyologist. Is Own Your Awesome, is that also an @ like a handle, or no? It's just a hashtag? No,
she has a Own Your Awesome deck, and then also I think it's called Own Your Awesome app.
Oh, very cool. Okay. And we have, I picked a quick, short little review, a beautiful 5-star review. Leave us, if you love this podcast, leave us a review. This is how we get out. Oh, and we're on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
We're on Spotify, y'all.
Woohoo.
Everybody has Spotify. So go on Spotify, subscribe. I think you subscribe to it there too. But like every single episode, this is the really cool thing about Spotify when they let you on. All our episodes are on Spotify immediately.
Yeah.
So you can get them all right there. Make a whole playlist out of them. Spend the rest of the week just listening to nobody but us. Lou, and that is L with like 12 U's after it, left the following 5-star rating and review. Great podcast, exclamation point, must listen, exclamation point. Thank you for that, Lou. Honest conversation about some of the tough things in life, 3 smiley faces. Thank you so much. Thanks for loving us. Thanks for sharing about it. Get ready for Tricia. We're coming at you.
Mwah. This episode of the Ignited podcast is brought to you by Philosophy Superfoods. The Philosophy offers cleanses and other nutritional products that are unlike any of the other supplements and detoxification programs on the market. Why? Because they actually nourish the body with whole, live, nutrient-rich foods instead of depriving you and leaving you hungry. Have you ever tried a cleanse only to find out that you can't make it through a whole day because you're starving? Ever try a superfood shake that made you nauseous because it was so disgusting you'd rather not eat? The Philosophy fix all that with a simple set of offerings that load up your body with nutrients while actually tasting good. Makes sense, right? Each of the Philosophy superfood and protein blends is vegan, raw, gluten-free, and has absolutely no filler ingredients. With over 15,000 satisfied customers, including some of the world's biggest celebrities like George Clooney, Gerard Butler, Lea Michele, and over 10 years of experience, this is the best stuff you can get. To buy some or find out more info, go to our website, thephilosophy.com.
All right, everybody, we're back. We're back for conversation.
Yay.
And I'm going to let them know. I feel weird not letting them know. This is the second time we've done this interview. And it's actually even more complicated than I'm pretending that it is because, Tricia, you've been nice enough to show up at our house twice for this.
And you live an hour and a half with no traffic away.
Yep. Yeah, something like that.
You know what, though? I love it because I was even telling Sophie last night that where I was when we taped this like 3 months ago, like I've been moving through some of my own blocks. And when I saw you guys last time, I was telling her about these blocks and I was like, I'm coming out the other side. But now I can feel like, and obviously I'm still like managing my way through, but now I'm like way on the other side. And because of that, I feel like, you know, like how I say things and my reflections and everything are so much more powerful.
Awesome.
And also I love you guys so much. And that I love being able to connect with people in person. And so I could have just scheduled to do this from home, but I love you. And besides this conversation, then it's just that connection. And it feels good to be around awesome people, right? So go connect with people in the real world.
I totally agree. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, that's a huge message is just make the time to see the people you love, see the people that inspire you, book that ticket to see that person speak, book that workshop, like FaceTime, real time, feeling someone's energy fills you up on a cellular soul level.
Yesterday, I was like, I just got back from a trip.
You have 2 kids.
I don't really want to drive to LA tonight and sleep in someone else's bed. Yep. Maybe I'll just change and I can just do this from home. But like that would be the easy thing to do. But I knew that's not what's going to fill me up. It doesn't feel the same.
That's amazing.
I'm going to get in the car and drive, put on a podcast and like get to have a heart talk with Sophie last night and just like, this fills me up. It might be more work in some ways, but it's so much more worth it. So the excuses you're telling yourself out there of like why you're not doing something that you know, like how will this make me feel afterwards?
And you know what? The work always makes you feel better. Yes. And I feel like work actually has like kind of a negative connotation. We're really trying to change that because the only reason that our relationship survived and got to this point and why we're so close is because we did the work.
Right.
If we don't do the work in life, if we always take the easier path, you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah.
It'll be easier. You'll just be sitting there on the couch.
Like the phrase, what do people always say? Like, that's easier or what do people always say about things like it's easier said than done. Well,
Easier
duh.
Right.
Yeah, get off of your ass and just do something. If you want to make a change, if you want to be healthier, if you want to be happier, then do something about it.
I feel like a lot of times, though, that's because they hate what they are aiming for. Like, they're not actually passionate about the goal and the outcome, so it doesn't matter. There's no joy in where they're going, so of course they hate every step along the way. The difference here, what I heard and what you were saying was, you knew you were going to have a good time sitting here talking, and you were going to connect to Sophie, and that felt good, so you were willing to go out and do it. If you're really distraught about every single thing you've got to do in your life, you can look at those individual tasks, but what are you thinking those are leading you towards? My guess is you're not that excited about that thing.
Yeah, and that's why one of my main messages, and you guys have likely seen it on my products, is fuck the shoulds, do the wants. And that so many people can hear that and see that and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, we always have to do shoulds. But it's also a different way of looking at things. And that I invite people to remove the word should from the vocabulary, and that the word that often replaces it is want. So in that conversation, you're asking yourself all day long, like, what should I eat today? What do I want to eat today? And then there's also different things like, I want pizza, but I should eat the salad. Well, how do you want to feel? Like maybe you're trying to eat the salad because you know that you haven't been feeling great in your body and your mind. And so I want to feel great in body and mind. I want to eat this healthy, nutritious meal. But sometimes you might I want to eat the pizza and be happy with that choice.
Totally.
It's just how you look at everything. It's like, I should really do the dishes. Well, I'm not very excited to do the dishes, but you know what I love? A clean kitchen where everything's put away.
Sophie and I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what is funny? Mine, it's not a New Year's resolution, but I was in 2019. This is one of the only things I actually said to myself is I want to go to sleep at night with a clean kitchen. Yeah. So 2 nights ago, I stayed up till 8:30, cleaning, sponging, organizing, and it felt so good. I turned off the lights at 8:30 to the kitchen. I walked upstairs and I felt so satisfied.
Because you're also looking at it differently. I want a clean kitchen in the morning because when I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean, I feel great and refreshed and not
it's a fresh start.
Yeah,
it's this thing weighing on you. So taking that with I should do the dishes. Well, what do I want?
Feels good that
I want the feeling that I get when I have a clean kitchen. So I do want to do the dishes right now, and it gets you off your ass.
Yeah. I just made the bed before this interview for that reason, because it's when you walk into your bedroom, if the bed is made, you feel better about your bedroom.
Bed made is a non-negotiable for me. I don't know when that started. My stepmom's really good about that kind of stuff. She taught me about cleaning the sink. She Windexes the sink with paper towels.
The funny thing is, when I first met you 13, 14 years ago, that irritated you because she was so big about it, and now you can't stand a sink that is not clean like that.
She trained me. It's Pavlovian.
Good work.
Yep. And same thing with the bed.
So Phyllis, shout out about
shout
the clean
out to
sink.
Phyllis. And also I think that's kind of where that came from, is that obsessive clean, it has to be so sparkling clean.
But now
same
you love
for my
it.
bed. I love it. I crave it. And it's those little simple things that can just make you feel, when I walk into my room, if the bed's made, I'm oh, this is an inviting space to be in. And I'm so grateful for this beautiful space. And it's just different than I gotta put those clothes away.
Yeah. So that's that, the whole people, I guess, they get triggered with the fuck the shoulds, or let's not do the shoulds, or not use the word should, let's use the word want. And people will be well, we all have to do things that we should, but it's just a different way of looking at your choices. But it also will start to show you I don't do that because I don't want to, and that's okay. And then seeing I don't want to do that, and that's okay. What do I want?
First of all, perspective is everything. Everything. Because you can take two people sitting in the same room having the exact same objective experience. The same things could be happening, and they can have a completely different perspective on what just happened. You see that happening in fights. You see that happening when people watch movies. People will watch something and get a completely different idea about what resonated for them. But then in life, you're right, people consider some tasks or chores or things they have to do at work or in their relationship as musts or have tos. And if you just move to the side of that and go, oh no, I want this. I want to have this uncomfortable conversation with my wife because on the other side of it, I get a much better relationship.
Exactly.
Or I want to do the dishes. I mean, it's interesting. it's obviously not about the dishes because sometimes I can't fucking stand it and other times I love it. So it's not about the dishes. It's the same dirty dishes in the sink.
It's you.
It's me. Something changed in me. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I have to do the dishes. And other times it's like this Zen meditative thing, you know, when you drop into that zone.
I feel like it is meditative. For years I've been like, I think the only time is when I get in my own way or get in my head about it. That's the only time I don't enjoy it. Like, I've done the dishes the last 6 nights. Adi hasn't picked up a single fork. So
it's like taking it somewhere else.
Me.
Like, I just want to like, why me? Why is it always me?
I want
like,
a clean kitchen
like,
for me and my family. So why don't I just do it?
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. And what you're talking about with the perspective and just the people, it's like, yeah, like people can watch the same movie or be in the same situation, have different, but it's like we have these running stories in our heads. And once we realize that we have these stories and that we're like putting meaning on things and making up, then we can get so much clearer and also be able to accept other people in our lives, whether we know them or not, just to realize like,
so big.
Okay, that person acted like that. Does that mean that they don't like me or they don't think I'm enough or they never think that I'm going to make my dreams come true? And that realizing like, wait a minute, I'm making up these stories right now that I don't know if it's true about their words, but what are they even making up?
They have their story.
And they making up. And that might have to do with them because there's no way that they could believe in me and what I'm creating because they can't see that within themselves.
Love it.
It's just like so much is happening within our own minds. And that I feel like just the realization of, wow, we all have a lot going on in our own minds. And that seeing like, so do you, and so do you, and so do you. Then it just creates this human connection and ability to let go.
Well, how many people
like
who are listening?
Accept more people and love more people and have more compassion.
How many people who are listening right now grew up, screenshot this, I want answers. I'm not asking, this is not rhetorical. Screenshot this, tag the 3 of us, Your Joyologist, Sophie.Jaffe, and Dr. Adi Jaffe. And I want the answer to this. How many people here right now grew up with a completely different view of the world? And that is, there are right ways and wrong ways to live. And you were taught by your mom or your dad, the people around you, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, that you have to behave a certain way because that is the right way. And the other people, and there were other people, they pointed at specific other people and said, those people are wrong. They live a different way, and that is not the right way to live. And you grew up that way, and you believed it. That was the story you had in your head, just like you said, Tricia.
About anything and everything, from religion to
or
the
like
way
how
they
you
dress.
act in public, or
everything.
Yeah, how you talk to people.
And you grew up and you believed it. You believed it for most of your life, and then one day something cracked. And I mean, you're not listening. You're not currently listening to this podcast if you believe that.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank. Because you would have turned us off a long time ago. But at some point, something cracked, and I want to know what it was that changed that for you, because that is a big moment in somebody's life to sit there and go, oh shit, I look at everybody else's actions because of the story of how this plays out in my head, and they're doing the same thing to me. And all I need to do to connect, that's why we're so big on transparency. That's the only reason our relationship has survived to this moment, is to be able to go, hold on, let me explain how I'm seeing this, because I think you're seeing this a really different way. And if we can explain that and bridge that gap, we're probably not that far apart. And then all of a sudden you realize all anybody wants is to feel like they can trust other people, like they're loved, like they're appreciated. That's all we all want.
All we all want.
Period.
Yeah, I always say that too, that really deep down, all we all want is to be accepted. And that's really all we all want, is to be loved, is that we're all just like, and even the blocks
children,
we put up of
adults,
like, I don't care what you think. I don't care. Like that's usually a protective mechanism.
Always.
Because we're afraid people won't love and accept us. So then we put out, I don't care what you think.
All the time.
Not saying like you do. You grow into different levels of not caring, but there's still some underlying of like, accept me.
Well, the not caring to me, and in the work that Sophie and I have done, et cetera, is more about trusting that if you show your real self, not your hidden self, not the mask, not the version of yourself you grew up believing you have to be for other people to love you, the real version of who you are, if you show that, there are people who love you for
you will
that.
Still be loved and accepted.
By the way, guys, not everybody will love you. There will be people who will despise you for showing who you really are. But here's the benefit. If you live a fake life, then other people will like you. You won't connect to them because that's not your true self. And you will feel like shit all day because you walk around being fake.
Yeah.
If you own up to who you truly are, there will be some people in your life currently who will say, I'm not into this person. That's not who I signed up for. Other people will come in who will be drawn to this new person. And the joy is you wake up every morning feeling complete, feeling whole, feeling truthful and honest with yourself.
Life changing. That touches on like 2 of my phrases for my product line and like things that I talk about. Like 1, own your awesome. My trademark phrase that I have the affirmation deck about and the app about is like, like that, the own your awesome is like at the like deepest core of you. It's really just being so grounded in who you are and accepting every single part of you, accepting your past, every version of you that ever was, and owning who you are. And it's not like, hey world, I'm awesome, so, and you're not. It's just owning who you are and loving and accepting yourself as that, mistakes, everything and all. And that also how you were talking about like judgment, and that I believe, like, we're going to be judged no matter what. Like, if you think about it, like, I practice, somebody's going to judge you because you do Bikram yoga. Somebody's going to judge you because you spin. Somebody's going to judge you because you drive a nice car. Somebody's going to judge you because you have a shitty car. Yeah. Somebody's going to judge you because you're a CEO. Like, somebody's going to judge you because you're like a checkout person.
Sure.
Like, no matter what you are, who you are, what you wear, what your job is, where you live, you're going to be judged.
So may as well be you.
Exactly. Like, instead of that being like, well, shit, like, what do I do? Then it's like freeing. Like, I'm going to be judged no matter what. So why don't I just do what I want and what I really crave to be deep down?
So true.
Freeing.
It's so freeing.
Look, guys, Gandhi was judged. Like, I mean, you can't find... I mean, if you're a Christian, Jesus.
Yeah,
was
whoever
judged
your person is that you're like,
actually more so.
People are judging them.
Well, if you look at those idols that we have, they're partially idolized because they stood in judgment and still owned their truth and moved forward.
And kept showing up as the version of them as it evolved, and they just keep showing up.
Yes.
And it's one of the reasons they're so admired, but also like a point for people to just throw out judgments and
if they would have quit earlier when somebody told them, this whole peaceful resistance thing about freeing your country from oppression, we're not really into this. Let's work out a deal. We'll free you a little bit, but you just stop with this whole movement thing. And if Gandhi would have said, okay, we've gone far enough, India wouldn't have freed itself. Like there are consequences. I think the reason I'm saying this is there are real tangible consequences. The world is not benefiting from you if you're hiding.
Yeah. And also like it's work to believe in yourself every single day and to show up as you are every single day. But it's also work to be fake and to not do that. And it's so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so much more rewarding and valuable to just be yourself and be true to you. And that is like, so you have it up on your refrigerator. The only judge of me is me. That's like that's one of my favorite phrases and things that I put out in the world, and not as many people gravitate to it because I don't think that they can fully grasp it. It's like the only true judge of you is you. You're going to be judged no matter what, but the only thing that matters is what you are creating about yourself. And that so often too, it's really our own judgments that are holding us back, and we project them onto other people. Like we believe, like I could be looking, like, I think that he's not believing me right now and that he's calling bullshit. And like, is he looking at me because he doesn't really like that? We're just constantly projecting our own judgments of ourselves out onto other people and keeping us where we are, because like, in seeing that, wait, these are my judgments.
Yeah.
Then you can work through them. But also if they're not your judgments and you're just like, that person judged me for that, then who cares? Like brush it off, you keep moving.
I want to talk about that for a second, but you just reminded me now for the second time. So I want to say it because it says on my
we didn't even get to any intro or anything. We just like jumped into.
Who are you anyway?
Hi,
it says
I'm
on
Tricia.
my piece of paper, conversation with our friend, and then introduce them. I still never did that.
I know, we jumped right in.
But you talked about your products, and I want to make sure that we are clear because we have them everywhere. Like,
everywhere.
Let that shit go. We're literally
And
Sophie's drinking from a mug.
5 years? I mean, how long have you had the product?
Yeah,
When did
it started with the Own Your Awesome deck, which I did a Kickstarter for, and I always get the year confused. I think that was in 2004, and it was like official. No, not 2004. 2014. I'm like, what?
We should figure this out.
Yeah,
like we should once and for all figure out when you started your company.
So the Kickstarter was July of 2014, and so like end of 2014, like the products were starting to become alive.
Yeah, so almost 5 years.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm an
So
OG,
we have them all over the
follower
house.
here. OG follower.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
have them all over the house.
Yes.
We use them all the time, from the mugs
Wine
to
glasses.
Our wine glasses have your sayings on them. I finally have a wine glass with my own thing on it, so now there's one of those. But it's for the book, and it literally just says the abstinence myth, and it's funny. It marks where a 5-ounce drink is.
I love that.
'Cause most people don't know how much a drink
I'm
is.
sure.
So it's like
Yeah.
they'll say I'm having a glass of wine, but it's like 2.5 glasses of wine in a
Filled
glass.
up.
They're like, it fit one glass. So I have that, but that's like
That's
competing.
awesome. Is that for sale?
We don't have it for sale broadly. We sent it out to
You
like
should do, like, some
marketing.
giveaways.
Why
Yeah.
not make it for sale?
Totally.
Make it for sale. Come on.
so-
we have plenty of room in our garage.
I know, totally.
Not.
Between the books and your stuff, it's taken up the whole garage. So I love that people know about the product, because the reason I'm saying this is you've taken this conversation beyond. These conversations are why we started Ignited, because I know there are people. I'm sorry to. I'm gonna stereotype some states here in a moment, but there are people in like North Dakota, in the middle of nowhere, who don't have the ability to have these conversations, because all the people around them, if they started the conversation, would get, you're insane, step back in line, this is the right way to behave, go do the shit you're supposed to do. But they're listening, they're looking for information, they're drawn to being able to open their mind. So the reason we started the podcast is to be able to broadcast exactly the conversation we're just having. But since it sounds like 2014 is the year that started, you've taken that a step further, and you've allowed people to hold these thoughts. It's literally be able to, whether they're little notes that they can put, or refrigerator magnets, or
reminders. Like, I think of them as they're beyond affirmations. They are affirmations, but they're reminders of things you need to remember and who you really are. Like,
so you could connect better.
And that's really, it's just like, it's meant to be that reminder of like,
it's a check-in.
Yeah, who am I?
Throughout
What am
the
I
day.
making up? What's going on?
Well, and the fact that you
what
have
is really
so,
important to me.
when you have so many different products, like I mean, honestly, I keep them around and it keeps me. We used to have fuck the shoulds do the ones in the kids' room. Like
that.
my kids, Kai started to be able to read, and he's like, "What does that say?"
That's
and,
when we took it out.
That's when we took it out.
They knew what fuck was. That's when we took it out.
But we still have it on mugs, and like they know it. Grown-ups do. Grown-ups drink wine. Grown-ups can cuss. Grown-ups can do certain things. Don't make a big deal about it. Don't be dramatic. You can't do those things, period. And they have a great meaning, and they fill me up. And they're reminders from the morning I wake up and I do morning pages, or I journal a little bit in your journal. Just looking at the front cover reminds me of who I really am. Then I spend a little time like getting in the daily groove, and like I lose myself a little bit. It gets frazzled and crazy, and getting the kids out and the to-do list. And then I go to the fridge and I see a magnet, and then I go grab a glass for a smoothie, and it reminds me again. And those reminders are so helpful because it's all day long.
You need to have them. I mean, that's...
You do. And it's like we all forget. And I think that's also an interest, like everybody... I think that so many people in like personal development or self-help, they're like, I've read all the books, I've done all the retreats, whatever. Like, I need to be perfect done, right? I'm like a master. And that like the mindset master, the whatever master you are, we still got to show up and do the work every single day. And some days will be easier. And you're like, I'm on top of the world. I'm awesome. Yeah, I own my awesome. And some days you're like, all right, let's dig underneath these feelings and fears and doubts that like people think that they're going to do all the work, and they're just one day going to wake up and never have a doubt, never have a fear, never like everything's perfect.
I say this as an example, and I don't know, some people I know listening right now don't know who I'm talking about, but like I'll give a couple of examples, like Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Barack Obama. I mean, I honestly even think Donald Trump, even if he's lying to himself about it all the time. But I don't care who you think is 100% confident, they're not. They just have, I just talked about this yesterday, they just have habits and things in place in their life to right the ship when things go off kilter. And these mugs are part of that. These notices, if you look at your fridge and it says the only judge of me is me, you go, okay, I'm okay. I just need to reframe the conversation in my head and everything is fine. If you pick up a mug that says, it's all about timing and I believe in the timing of my life, you go, okay, things aren't exactly perfect as they are right now. There are things that I'm working towards, but it's going to work out. I'm going to put the work. I trust in myself, right? It's these little reminders that you're okay. What ends up happening, what happened to me, let's say, back in the days, is the noise in my head was the only thing that was driving my behavior. And it wasn't good because my life wasn't good. I was addicted to drugs. My family and I were essentially completely disconnected. I'd been an asshole to them for like a decade at that point. So there was a lot of evidence that things were not going right. Surrounded by essentially like drug dealers, drug users, and strippers. Those were the only people. So evidence around me was everywhere that things weren't working out right. And there was no anchor. There was no reminder that I'm okay. And there are people listening right now. There are people we know in our life that, you get caught in that cycle. And we need these reminders all the time. I wear a fuck shame bracelet myself. Like, it's my quote from a talk I gave, but if I don't put it on my wrist,
right,
I won't remember all the time.
And it's also like, that's usually, like you said, the quotes that you put out there in the world are the words that we create. Words I create are words that I created because I needed them.
Totally.
That, like, this mug Sophie's drinking out of, I trust the timing of my life. I believe, I trust my life is working out. I made that for me. Like, like
Right,
that's a phrase I've told myself, and
Yeah.
then be like, other people must have this.
Yeah, no,
Totally.
reminder. That wallpaper I just made, I was just journaling.
Yeah.
And then I made it and I was like, oh, maybe I should release this. Because it was
Maybe
just
I
for
want
me.
to.
Maybe I want to. Oh, did I say should?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm like, if I'm
I-
around, I'm going to be taking the shoulds out of you.
I
it.
want to release this to other people because maybe it will resonate for them too and help them in the way that it's helping me.
Yeah, it's look, it's a really powerful thing. I just wanted to introduce everybody so they're not so they actually know how to get in touch with you. So
Hi, I'm Tricia, otherwise known as Your Joyologist.
yeah, and we talked about this last time, so I want to bring it back because it's funny. For us, this is a continuation conversation, but these people never got introduced to you. So you and Sophie have known each other for, it sounds like it's going on 5 years. It seems like it's even...
A little bit before that, because I know we met before.
Was Kai even born though?
No, yeah, you had both kids.
I had both?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe 6 years then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was before the deck, but I just moved back to LA from being on tour for 2 years
Right.
because another thing that you were just talking about too is that, like with these people that we look up to and we think like, oh, they're confident and it's good, that the first way I created my work as a joyologist was supporting artists on the road.
Because you were in that world. You were in the touring world.
Yeah. So in that, like my journey in self-love and realizing all of this stuff started very young at 15. And even like when you were bringing up that, the question of how old were you, or do you remember when you realized this? For me, I was very young, and that I was like often like questioning, well, why, like, or whatever. And I always wanted to explain things and ask questions. And like, I was told, shut up. And, and for me, I just always felt like I wanted to like look beyond what was like this right and wrong and see, well, what if they think that this, or well, that's what they know. And so that's right to them.
Where'd you grow up?
In Cincinnati, Ohio. And I went to all Catholic schools and,
So it is a very sort of regimented way of living.
Yeah. But there was always something within me. But then also I grew up with chronic pain. And honestly, that now was a gift to me. And I almost took my life at 15 from suffering from the pain, but also just feeling like nobody cares about me. And what is the point of this life? And like, it's all just bullshit. Like, my friends at school just care about this and boys and that. And my parents just have to work hard to make money. And just, I felt very lost and in so much physical pain that I almost ended my life. And I was like, if I'm so serious about this and it's keeping me up again at night, why don't I just try something a different way?
Oh.
So I had this very like out of body, like, like I was drawing in my mirror on red lipstick moment of like, okay, like, like having some break and then realizing like, I'm going to try life a different way. And that was starting with, I'm going to live my life for me and I'm going to live my life my way. And that was a very long journey. And like, obviously what that meant, because it was at first like, I love myself, so fuck you. And like, created
that's what I went through. I went through that for a while.
Walls because of that. But also I was like, I was okay. Like, hey, I can like these people and like these people, and I can do this and I can do that. And
Well, it felt like a zero-sum game for a while, right? It felt like if I have to love myself more, that means I have to dislike you somehow.
somewhat. Yeah. I realized I use it as a more protective mechanism. Like I said, that like the fear of not being accepted then made me be like, well, I accept myself. So fuck you.
Yeah.
But still was still open to people. And anyway, but my biggest dream was to like work in live music and to become a live sound engineer. And I made that happen. And
That's
it was
amazing.
really hard. And, but I just believed so strongly in myself. Like, again, it was just like, I made that choice that I'm going to live my life my way and I'm going to make things happen. I'm getting teary eyed. And
And now looking back, like that, believing in myself, like I'm back to that point, and I feel like I got a little bit like lost over the last couple of years is what I did, but I had so many like different mindset blocks and things coming up. But I had that back then of believing in myself so strongly. So I made it happen. I showed up. I worked for free at House of Blues in Chicago. This is what I want to do. You're a young girl. What are you talking about? This is a man's profession. Having all of this. And I just kept showing up and kept showing up, kept showing. And that was like so many of my life lessons that I use with clients, and that I then were like from those years of putting myself out there when nobody believed in me and showing up daily, that even though the local crew were like, okay, now Tricia really wants to do this, but every day a new crew came through with artists that were like, who's this young girl? So every day. And then once I became a sound engineer, then the modern engineer, who's this girl behind the sound console? And not just from men, from women. Who's this girl? She's not going to be good enough. And like constantly being faced with judgment because of who I was without them getting to know me. And then it was just like, oh, then they like check their microphones and
everything worked. Everything is good. They're solid.
Okay, it's fine. So that I really back then had to be grounded in owning my awesome and just like without the attitude of just being like, I'm just going to be here and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work and they're going to say these mean things to me and they're going to treat me with shit. But I'm not going to like fight back because that's going to make them not like me more or want to
Here's
not
what I
like
love
me.
about it though. Going back to how we started talking, you loved the end point so much. Like
I knew it's what I wanted.
wanting to do that gave you so much joy
But
and filled you up so
every day
much.
would put up with it.
Well, you actually, my
And I
guess is
loved
you didn't even put up with it. It was
Yeah.
more like you would wake up and you're like,
I
fucking
knew
get
that
to
I
go.
was doing what I wanted to. And
Yeah.
even though that it was hard, it was amazing. And that, you know, like so many people were like, you were so lucky that you
'Cause
made
how-
that happen.
how
And
many
it's like,
bands-
I showed up
I was not
every
lucky.
day.
Yeah.
How many bands did you work with there that you were like, oh my God, this is a fucking dream?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
was, no, amazing.
It's
like,
a
so
fucking
exactly.
House
Like,
of
it was
Blues
a
in
dream.
Chicago?
And
That's
that time, it was like really like, it was like, oh, today Pearl Jam is opening up for The Who. Oh, today we have Stevie
Right.
Nicks, because people, it was such a beautiful venue that people just chose it for
It's the
special
fucking
things,
House of
even
Blues.
though
Like,
that they
nobody
were
knows what that is now, but
smaller.
like,
yeah,
it was
back
the
then
fucking
when I
House
was
of Blues.
there, it was 2000 through 2003, and I was started at 19 years old.
Wow. I mean, so that's, but here, the reason I'm pausing on it, because I know there's more to the story, but the reason I'm pausing here is stop thinking small for yourself. Just stop. Like, there's so many people who just say, well, that's what I want to do, but that's never going to happen. So I'm going to settle for something else. The moment you make that decision, you are cutting yourself off from joy. You are telling yourself, well, I can't be who I want to be, so I'll have to settle. And the entire conversation we're having around that, you've just lost out on that entire, because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter what you put in. Look, there are people stuck in jobs that they don't love because the circumstance in their life. If that is true for you and you are not going to take a leap and go to some job that you really wanted, find something else in life that you feel that passionate about, or you will wither and die. And you can get yelled at all day, but if what you're doing is something you fucking love, you'll take it with a smile on your face. You'll go, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry very much, Miss Nicks, but I'm going to fix that microphone for you, right? Because it's fucking Stevie Nicks singing on a microphone, and you're going to figure out how to make that okay because you can't believe that you're there.
Yeah, I was just so committed to what I wanted to do, and that I was willing to work for free. I gave up a good paying office job. I was living in Chicago on my own, paying my own bills as a 19-year-old, gave up my daytime job because I wanted to be there at 7 a.m. when load-in started. I didn't want to be there at 4 p.m. when soundcheck started because I knew this is what I wanted to do and that I had to show up fully. And I think that's also a thing that so many people like, if you know that you want to do something, then just do it because you want to, and you might have to start for free and like exchange your goods and stuff like that. That's something
Work
that
your
people
way
stop
up.
people, whether they're already established and have a career or they're young and they're out of college and they were just taught they have to take this job and that means pays this much money. Follow what excites you and it will pay off in your general like excitement and joy. It's like work for free, do some exchange things, like to work for free on the side and like to have some other job.
And it's
if
all
you really
perspective.
want something,
Yeah.
you will make it happen. And it's so meaningful. Like I didn't go away. Then they were like eventually like, okay, Tricia, we're going to pay you because you have not gone away. You show up more than the
That's
people
amazing.
that are on salary
Exactly.
because I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And so that was like a learning experience in what I wanted to do with my life, which has become a sound engineer for live concerts, but also so many life lessons I got to learn because also it's like obviously not every sound engineer was aware of those life lessons and learned them. And I think not just because I was female, but I like really took every opportunity as a learning experience as how this applied to life in general and humanness. And that one day we would have Wu-Tang Clan, and then the next day would be like Fear Factory.
Right.
And so seeing all of these stereotypical, these like sort of thug rappers, and then the next day is like heavy metal people, and like the personalities of the people and how the humanness of everybody that came through that day, like I was gonna say, in 1 week. And then we have gospel choir on Sunday.
Oh my God.
And then after that there'd be an electronic dance part. Like I would work a lot of times because I was in school full time also.
Of course you are.
To be a live sound engineer, and I would do 20 hours a week, like in 2 days, and then be available to do sound. So a lot of times I would work the Friday shift all night. The Saturday shift, there'd be a late night dance party. I might sleep in the dressing room for a couple hours, and then I'd do gospel brunch.
Shit.
And that
I remember those gospel brunches.
So like hard work, but also the amount of and different types of people that I experienced within those days, and like just like that learning experience about humans and these people that we project.
Right. The beauty is you get to see behind
and
the scenes.
Ideas on because they look this way, or these are the songs they sing, or they dress this way. But also these artists too, and who they are, and how like you could see their nerves and their doubts and fears, even though they get on stage every night. And then so I did eventually become a touring live sound engineer and touring with major Grammy Award winning artists around the world, and saw that these people that are doing their like big life's work, they're writing songs from their heart. They're singing them to sold out amphitheaters around the world. They even have great support systems, like they had good, loved ones, families. So it really from the outside looked like they had everything, could, get on a private jet and take vacations, that they still didn't feel like excited to do their job every day.
It's so crazy to me that people
performing
don't
their songs to their fans.
Yeah.
That they still were not fighting the not enoughness. That they still had the doubts and the fears and were not happy and filled with joy every day.
Yeah.
And so living in this world and seeing that, and then my father passed away suddenly, and that for me was the note that I wanted, had to do something different with my life, and that I had learned all of the years. Also, I had that chronic pain, so I finally was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So I had learned all of these health and wellness techniques to take better care of myself so that I could show up to do my life. Because so many people are like, I have fibromyalgia, I don't get out of bed. Well, I couldn't do that. I knew this is what I wanted to do. And that also that passion of doing what I wanted to do made it easier. I could tell when I was doing things I didn't want to do because I would feel it in my body more. It wasn't a made up pain.
Right.
It's not in my mind, but obviously the physical symptoms show up more for me in life still, if I'm not alignment with myself and I'm, falling out. So, but also, I learned these ways of taking care. Like I was on tour with a juicer. I was eating gluten-free in 2004. I did yoga when I got off the bus every day. So I learned these techniques, mind and body techniques over the years, from saving myself at 15 and then the wellness and then living in this world. And so when my father passed away, I knew I had to do more, and I took time off and I didn't know what I was going to do. That's where taking the word should came out of my life, because I was like, I know I want to do more, and I want to like help other people and share these tricks and make people be like, shake them up and be like, you have to live. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Live your life for you. And that's where should happened. I was like, I'm not saying this word. And so then every day I ask myself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? And I ended up going back on the road and working for the same artists that some the same, some new, that I toured with, and becoming their on-tour joyologist. That word was given to me. And so then I was their person that made sure that they were feeling amazing in body and mind, that would call them out on their bullshit. Because also in positions of power, whether you're an artist, a CEO, a boss at any company, people aren't honest with you. You don't know who to trust. They don't want to piss you off. So that these people I saw too, that like they didn't really have a safe space. They sometimes couldn't even trust their family anymore. And who's honest with me? And are they with me just because of my money and my fame and that? And even though they're amazing. So being that person and be like, when they're slamming doors, to open the door and be like, so what's going on? And not just be like, everybody's walking around on tiptoes because so-and-so's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be on alert.
I've had that job with a few people. It's not an uncomfortable job.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on the road, kind of half the people hate you because you have access in a way that maybe
Right. So somebody
they
like,
don't.
who is this person?
Who does she
like
think she is?
that
Who does he
person's
think-
person.
Yeah.
So what is that? And
and
like,
also
that's
even-
a frou-frou job. Or are they just really like a friend? And
Right.
like,
and even your boss, the artist, I mean,
well, sometimes they resent that they hired you because they're like, no, just let me like do my
I wanna get
destructive
drunk
shit
right
and like
now.
whatever,
Yeah.
and like throwing stuff at me and like, yeah,
Totally.
like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to face this thing that
Yeah.
pissed me off. Just like, let me be pissed off. And
yeah. Sophie would be on calls with me sometimes. I'm like, "Fuck, this is hard. It's hard to have to be somebody's conscious, essentially.
yeah, and just to be able to walk them through stuff. But I love it more than anything.
That's awesome.
And I love being able to share with them, like, okay, well, can you see that, or did you see, like, did you say that upsets you? But like, did you tell that person that? Or like, okay, your management keeps wanting, like, keeps signing you up for things like that. Have you ever, realize that you can say no? Like, did you, like, maybe you need to start creating some like boundaries of like, we only tour for this much at a time, and then I need this much time off, or like just talking them through things. And sometimes it was like, well, I know you don't like to do interviews, but like those interviews get you in front of more people. And what's the message? Like, why do you do this? So like, reminding them of like, okay, I don't like doing these interviews where they ask me the same questions every day. But the purpose of them is for people to, like, want to listen to my music and they understand me. And so what is the point? Like, why do you do music? Like, so to connect them back to their message. So just like in so many ways to allow them to remember why they're doing what they're doing, to help them see like that they can say no to things, to like, what do they want, to just like.
Well, and a lot of times what they started out doing this for was because they love making music.
Yeah. And then it turns into a job.
They didn't, A, it's a job. B, they didn't sign up for the scale.
All
that it
of
ends
the
up,
other-
like you toured with Jason Mraz, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can tell that guy used to love just sitting with an acoustic guitar and just singing.
And he does still.
I get it. But for a minute there, it got fucking hectic. And I can almost imagine, because nothing can prepare you for that. Like, nothing can prepare you for the meteoric
No, and I
rise.
think even these days, because we have more of a glimpse into like how that lifestyle works, and that it's, like that there's work to it and stuff like that, that I'm guessing that now the artists that are just picking up a guitar at home and they're like a singer-songwriter and they want to make it happen, that they probably realize there's more to it. But it's still, you don't understand it until
can't.
you're fully in it. And that there
can't.
is like, of course, you have labels, you have managements, and like that's their job to like get you to work and to make money and for you to make money and stuff like they're going to be pushing things in front of you that
Yep.
you maybe don't want to do. And so seeing like, does this serve me? How to like just so much. And that's like, that quote of like, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's
It's gonna
also
be
true.
work.
But it's just realizing that, yes, pick a job that you love and that you ever always be able to see like, wait, but why do I do this?
Yeah.
But there's going to be days, even in what you love,
Of course.
that you're like, I just want to like sleep in today, or oh, why did I do that? Or just like, oh, I didn't realize this aspect came along with this part of this.
So here we get back to the fact that what you need to put in place are the habits, the reminders, like the skeleton. In psychology, we call it scaffolding. The scaffolding around the building that keeps the building upright is important as you build up what you're doing, because yes, there will be days that you have that. But if you're eating healthily and you're moving and you've got somebody in your life that can wake you up and say, hey, but I got it. I know what you want right now. We got 30 more minutes of this, so wallow in it while you want. But in 30 minutes, I got to go back and get you, and all that stuff. If you have all the support and everything working reliably and regularly in your life, then at least the waves are not as they're not as
Yeah.
extreme.
And just having that constant connection to yourself. And that's, for me, a lot of people I think don't realize how powerful changing your words and your language are. And with that word should is. But again, it's an everyday reminder of like, wait, what word choice am I going to use? Because what do I actually want? Or how do I want to feel? That it's so much deeper than just like, it's just easier to say should, like whatever. I doubt that can actually create that big of a shift in my life. But just focusing on one word can end up every day anchoring you back to, who am I? What do I want? What makes me feel alive? How do I want to feel? Is this in alignment with it? And then it can make you get up and do the dishes or get up and do the whatever.
Yeah. We all need reminders all the time.
Oh, but then also, let's not forget the app.
Yes, let us not forget
So
the
I
app.
created the products, but even better, because we're all on our phone these days, that I also created a powerful thought and affirmation app called Own Your Awesome. So wherever you are, whether you can
come to the app, open it, and get a powerful thought, get a powerful affirmation. You can set a timer so it can shows up because, like we said, we all forget, and that's that anchor of like, oh, okay, the Own Your Awesome app is telling me it's my time to check the message for the day. Let's see what message it is.
So smart.
And there's a space in there to journal because I'm with you, Sophie. That like journaling and the morning page style is what got me to do it. And I don't do it in the morning anymore, but just that free flow of letting it out is so valuable and
Feeling.
and also in making sure you're letting out the negative thoughts
Exactly.
was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, once you say it out loud on paper or to someone else, it just dissipates it. And it's not as intense and it just gets released.
And that's, some people are like, what? Write down. And that for me too, when I got into journaling and I was like, okay, I'm supposed to unload all of these. I unload all these thoughts from my head. Oh, but that's a doubt or feel. But I'm positive. I'm the joyologist. I can't allow those thoughts, but those were thoughts that are already happening.
Exactly.
So like putting them out there.
We all have darkness. We all have shadows. We all have negativity. Everyone,
and
even
by
your
paying
joyologist.
attention to them, then you can work through them and see them for what they are and as if they're right.
There's research in around meditation and mindfulness. People when they meditate, oftentimes when they have thoughts or especially anxious and stressful thoughts they want to get rid of, they try to avoid them. They try to block them. But research has shown that if you pay attention to them for a moment, label them, give them a name. When you're writing them, you have to give them a name because there's words on the page. Giving them a name actually allows you to de-escalate the stress and get rid of the anxiety over trying to block them.
What would like a name be? Would it be like, that's a fear? Like that sort of name? Or like,
I'm afraid of what's going on with my job.
Well, so not with writing, but so when you were talking with like the meditation thing with like naming it, would it be something like that? Like, okay, that's a fear, let it go. Or like something
so maybe
that.
like,
how's the naming work?
Just to connect right now, it'd be, I'm having some anxiety about showing up on time to my next appointment. I got it. Like I labeled it and I let it go.
Like, or like, okay, I'm feeling this. I have an anxiety.
Instead of just saying, don't worry about the anxiety. Don't worry about the anxiety. Just focus, just calm down. That's what a lot of people do. And then they don't understand why they get more stressed by meditating. Because they just are like
kept getting pulled away by the thing they're pushing away and just saying like, okay, this is what's happening. I have anxiety, then I'm not going to be on time.
And then the same with your app and the reminders. I love that you said this about the people who even have all the resources to get all the things. You're not going to be perfect at this. Nobody is perfect at this.
Every day you gotta
do the work. Show up and you do the work and then you get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, pretty good is amazing as a way to live. Like if you can, I wake up, I tell people this. I just talked about this yesterday. We do this wheel of life that we give away on ignited.com if anybody wants to go on. And it's like 10 areas of your life where you can measure from 0 to 10 how you're doing, right? If I fill that out at any given moment in time in my life right now, I don't think I score below a 7 on any of them. And I'm probably at 8s and 9s on most. That is not the way my life used to run. Now, I'm barely ever at a 10, but I'm never at like a 1 or a 2. I don't let shit get to a 1 or a 2. Everybody in my life would have to die and like the world would have to collapse for me to feel that way. That's an amazing place for me to live. To wake up every morning and know that I'm scoring like a B minimum in my life. Like even when shit sucks, that's where I am. To me, in the way I orient and the way that I score my life, that feels so good to be able to wake up and go to sleep every day and every night and be able to say, damn, today was a pretty good day.
Life is pretty good.
And some days are incredible and some days suck. But on average, my life is pretty damn good every day. And I'm not going for perfect. I'm not trying to go for perfect. That's like that's some ideal that I like having in the back of my head because I like to know what that looks like. But even like Tricia just
said, the like most famous, sold out, Grammy winning, amazing human beings don't have perfect. There is no perfect. No.
And actually, if they try to go for perfect, they hurt themselves.
Perfect. Yeah. But absolutely. Like what is perfect?
So
it doesn't exist.
So I don't know if you remember this, but we've got 5 questions we ask.
I don't.
Each one of our guests.
I don't remember the questions.
Good.
I remember there were questions, but I don't remember them. So I do not have written pre-formed answers.
You didn't journal them out ahead of time this morning.
Because the jarbled recording from last time doesn't have them either. So we ask 5 questions of everybody that comes in here. And the first question that we have for you today is, what is your best advice? The best piece of advice you remember getting from anybody in life? You write so many pieces of advice. Maybe you.
I know. I was all like, I immediately was trying to think of my own words. The first thing that came up when you said that
And I think, yeah, in any moment when you ask me this, it could be a different question. But the only judge of me is me. That really is so powerful. And that just keep reminding yourself of that out there. The only judge of you is you.
Just keep showing up and being authentically you.
And change that story in your own head.
Yeah.
If you stop judging yourself, there will be less judgment.
You can be whoever you know yourself to be. The only judge of you is you. And when you're being so hard on yourself, it's you. So you can shift your own perspective, your own reality, your own life. It's all you.
That's awesome.
Next question.
Proudest moment.
Proudest moment.
I just have to go with, I always just have to go with the first thought that comes to my mind, even if I'm like, that's really okay. It's, and I might have said this last time too, was allowing myself to cry at my father's funeral. It was such, for me, a big thing. Like, even though I had been so many years of connected to myself and that, then like I said, I think I had built up walls of, I only got me, I love myself so much, whatever, that there must have been, walls up and not letting that emotion. And so when we found out that he died, it was just like getting into I was supposed to get on a plane to Australia that day to go on tour. But anyway, so like, okay, changed flights, go home. And it was just like business, funeral, getting all the things for the funeral, like take care of things. And then just at the funeral, like fighting it so hard, like you're not allowed to cry and like feeling it. And I was in my head like, Tricia, this is your father's funeral. You are allowed to cry.
Why didn't you think you were allowed to cry?
I mean, I think that's just how growing up and like, right? Like you don't show emotion and just, what does that mean to cry? That you're weak or just like, I don't know. It was just something inside me that I could feel. I like had to talk myself into. Like I remember yelling at myself, like you're allowed to cry. And I didn't. It was like the loudest. Like then I was like falling on the floor, like animal, like crying. But beyond that then, and that was a long grieving period. It just like, then from then it was like allow emotion and like to just even not attach yourself. Like emotion is present. You're allowed to cry. So it seemed like that's the proudest moment, but I don't know. It was just such a deep memory pivotal of like, you're allowed to have this emotion right now.
Yeah, that's so powerful. It's funny because I'm the opposite. Like I'm like not overly emotional, but like I come from two parents who are super emotional and create like a space where it's safe to express your emotion. There's plenty of things that aren't safe, but it's encouraged to cry.
And I don't know if it was even on them or on me.
No, of course.
I think a lot of it was me. Like you're strong.
And like you built those
you're
walls.
Independent. You're this. So you don't cry.
Yeah. So on the flip side, your most challenging moment.
Most challenging moment.
Or one of them, since we have a lot of challenging moments.
I know. I was like,
how do I pick?
My most challenging moment. That's so, it's funny. I can't really pinpoint that except for, because I think it is so much. And that every time, I guess recently, the most challenging moment was realizing these blocks, and that it'll probably like, this is probably always my challenging moment, but I just recently in the last few months, like realized these blocks that I had that I was not wasn't connected. As I said in the beginning, that story of wanting to become a sound engineer, I wasn't believing in myself. And that even though I did believe in myself, I discovered these ways and these stories I'd been telling myself of like, no, you wouldn't do that. No, this won't happen for you. Just realizing, like seeing that I wasn't believing myself and then getting back into that place of the me that I knew and that power that I have of like, it doesn't matter. And that what I see now is that I was giving the power away of like, I wasn't able to believe in myself because it didn't feel like my partner believed in me. Or maybe it didn't feel like my friends were going to believe in me in these new things that I was going out to or old dreams I was bringing back alive. And that I had to realize. And so that was the most challenging moment again, was then seeing that it was me.
You had to own it.
It wasn't that I was afraid they didn't believe in me. I wasn't even properly showing up and sharing with them because it was me that wasn't fully believing in myself and seeing what I'm capable of. And that getting back to that energy of, I believe that I am able to do this. I believe that it is happening. And so, yeah, I guess the challenge, I'm like, what is the answer to that question?
Well,
the
isn't that
challenge was
funny?
just seeing, I guess, that it was me.
And isn't it funny
The
that
challenge was seeing that it was
it
me.
just
It's
keeps
not them. And it doesn't matter what they think or if they believe in me or not, that it's my job to believe in me. And getting over that. It's not even their job. It's not my most loved one's job to believe in me. It's mine. And when I am so deeply believing in me, then it starts to spread to other people.
Yep.
But it's like, yeah, I guess that's the challenging, that it was like me realizing, fuck, it's me. It's me that doesn't believe in me. It's not them. It might be them too, but again, it's me. So uncovering that and like, why don't you believe in yourself? And then moving past that.
Exactly. And that comes up several times throughout our lives. We have to remember, remind ourselves, replant our feet in the ground and stand there anchored. I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
With or without anyone's support or help, I'm going to do it. No matter how long it takes. I want
Might have
this.
to do it for free for
Comes
a while.
back. Oh yeah.
Because I want this and I believe in it. And I know deep down that this is what I'm made for. This is what makes me come alive.
Yep. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's why we're here. What about self-care? Do you have a certain, maybe a daily ritual that you do or something that just like totally brings you back?
Yeah, several things. And, it's definitely shifted after becoming a mother. I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And
you're in it.
But because of my, chronic pain thing, then again, like I said, I'm more connected to I'm not somebody that can push and work till midnight and then wake up at 5 every day. Like I know your body has to rest. So this is going to have to get put off. And I know that there's other people that like that. Okay, the kitchen's going to be messy tonight and that's okay because you have to get to bed. So I always have this underlying level of self-care that again, I'm sort of grateful for the fibromyalgia because it makes me take better care of myself.
Yeah.
I recently did, I haven't gotten totally back into it yet, but started to finally wake up before my kids and it was so hard to get out of bed. But just even 15 minutes of moving my body and just having that time really changed my energy and everything for the whole day. And that I was able to be more present for my kids and more excited about everything. And I'll love to do 5-minute dance parties if I'm feeling blah or that, turn on a song and then we all dance,
Exactly.
the kids too.
The kids love it.
And one self-care thing for me also is reading a novel at night before I go to bed. And I used to realize I had some shame that I liked reading fiction or novel. We have to only read self-development or these
brain.
Learning books or blah, blah, blah.
No, letting go in that way is so healing.
I've always loved to read. And I do enjoy fiction and I read memoirs too, but so that's what I do usually before I fall asleep is let myself read
I love that
fiction.
that's a guilt.
And
reading
that's
a book is guilt.
Well, no, it wasn't just a book. It was fiction.
Sure, I know, I get it. But it's doesn't
stories.
matter. It's so amazing. Do you know how many people don't read a book?
Yeah. But I realized that there was a level of shame about that because you should be reading, but I'm no, my brain can't take in that information at night.
Nope.
I'm
nope.
whatever,
I want pleasure.
Yeah.
It's way better than watching TV.
Pleasure. So
yeah.
that is actually, I've realized is that's a major self-care for thing. And I look for, and
Love
when
that.
when I got pregnant, I was I'm never going to be able to read again. Because I was just thought I won't have time for it. And then that's also realizing well, you make time for the things that you want. And that reading serves me. So even if it's 5 minutes before I fall asleep, then doing that.
You know what I do? Because I feel the same way. There's not enough time in the day. I put the book I'm reading in my bag. And then during those moments, if I'm 5 minutes early picking up the kids from school, if I'm sitting waiting in line at CVS, instead of being on my phone, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. All of a sudden, I've read 3 chapters.
Yeah, and I, as much as I love real books, and I feel there's real book snobs out there, but too, then I used to have shame, no, I read only on my iPad, and I also have the Kindle app on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Same.
I can just pull up my phone and read
Anytime.
wherever I want,
Yeah.
and have that little check-in.
Definitely. For me, I feel I have to go to the book because my phone sucks me into work mode.
Yeah, I mostly do it on my iPad,
Yeah.
but it's nice that I can
You can if you want to read. Yeah. So the last question, this podcast is called Ignited. What ignites you?
What really ignites me is
is having conversations with people and like reminding them of, of like, oh yeah, and like having these like mindset shifts and reminding them that it's them, that they have the power in their own life. And that when they're like, oh, I feel this and this is happening and that just reminding them, like showing them different ways to look at it and how they can shift it and that everything is their choice, that like having those conversations and helping people reclaim their life every day is really what does it for me.
So beautiful.
So many things, but if I have to pick one, like it really is that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love
so
you.
much.
Thank
I
you
love
for
you.
being here. I don't want to ever
having
stop
me.
talking.
I know. Thanks for having me back and welcoming me into your home.
To be continued. We'll do this again. Love you. Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Ignited podcast. We were so happy to have you along for this ride. Please go and subscribe to this. Leave us a review. We love hearing from you. And if you want more, don't forget to go to ignited.com, where all the podcast episodes are available with show notes and so many of the little details and links from each one of these interviews. And you can look at all the future events that we have going on, all the things that make Ignited so special, even beyond this recording. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.